Lore Together is proud to be part of the Boss Rush Games Network. Feel free to find out more at bossrushgames.com/network. Hi, I'm Safi.
And I'm Mystic.
And this is Lore Together. This is the podcast where a husband and wife team go over all the storytelling, world building, and characters of video games. Because it's what we like to do together. We lore together.
Yep, and this is episode 155.
Thanks for joining us for another episode.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're hoping that this next New Year is just going to be full of us just still having fun with this show. And using it as a moment to forget about how the real world sucks.
I mean, that's why we like video games.
That's definitely why we like video games.
One of the reasons.
One of the reasons.
If you want to let us know your reasons why you like video games, you can contact us in many different ways. Instagram, Blue Sky, Reddit, YouTube, Steam, and Discord down in the description down below. Or you can contact us via email at loretogether@gmail.com. And actually, in regards to Steam, we have a few new friends on Steam, but also thank you for the gift games on Steam.
Yes, thank you, friends. We really appreciate it, and definitely putting those in the coverage schedule for the upcoming year and beyond.
And if you want to support the podcast in other ways than giving us free games, you can do that in two different ways. First is thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever it is, wherever you're listening, we appreciate it. The other way is through Patreon at patreon.com/loretogether, where you can pay a per episode pledge. That's per podcast episode, to get early access to those podcast episodes, exclusive access to other Let's Plays like Jade Empire and Cyberpunk 2077, voting rights in our public Let's Plays, which currently include The Forgotten City and soon will be Mass Effect 3.
Yay!
Well, we should say, if we do any stuff before we play in terms of voting, you get exclusive access to those votes. If we need a vote during the game play, then you will get double the vote as a patron member in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Patrons also get access to Safi's 2 novels that are out.
Yes, at the $2 level and above, you can get Mother Revolution, my debut novel. It's a science fiction about a single mother who finds a race of people who are shackled in code. And then at the $3 level, you can get the beginning of my fantasy trilogy, Hidden Root, where they'll fix what Destiny couldn't. I would say more, but we'd be here for an hour. So
I still haven't read either.
Yeah, Mystic is bad about that. But
on this episode, I don't have to do anything other than react. Woo!
Do you have any idea of what I am covering this
I saw that there was videos. I saw that there was wikis. I didn't see what any of it was. I think I saw maybe an office environment at one point, but I don't know if that was something you were watching relating to this or if you were watching something else entirely. So,
okay.
No.
All right. So, I'm not going to necessarily make you guess because that's not always as fun for me. But I will. But if you know who the developer is, you're going to know the game probably.
Okay.
The developer's name is Wrong Organ.
Never heard of them.
Okay, I didn't think you would have.
So Wrong Organ. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not surprised you don't know about them.
I do remember you saying this is a genre I'm not a big fan of.
Yes. In my preamble, we'll start with that. Mystic has stated that he hates covering horror games.
Oh, no.
And I can understand. The genre is not my go-to for my free time. Any of you who've seen me play anything with horror elements on our live streams knows that I am prone to jump at a scare and then stay anxious for a couple hours afterwards. Horror doesn't thrill me in the same way that it does many of my Halloween-loving friends. But one thing that horror does well is comment on the human condition. Being a person raised on science fiction, I admire the horror genre for tackling the ugly parts of our existence in a more direct way. The horror movies I tend to actually like and rewatch tend to be horror sci-fi stories like Aliens, Predator, or The Thing. The themes are easier for me to identify, and the fantastical parts of the story make things a bit more removed, and I'm less likely to have nightmares. The only exception to that is zombie movies, which I love, but still give me nightmares.
You're right. This is a genre I don't like.
Mm-hmm. This is part of the reason I wanted to cover Mouthwashing.
Okay, you had mentioned this one.
Mm-hmm. Once again, the YouTuber Wendigoon did a video on a game whose premise and presentation I found incredibly intriguing. Mystic let me know he's not covering horror games, and those will be up to me.
I mean, I'll probably cover one at some point in October, but
I think the exceptions to this will be things like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and those big genre JRPG specific. Well, not JRPG. They're not necessarily JRPG, but like those. I don't even
look. If you take one of the ones I'm working on, then that's one less episode I have to work on.
But those big ones, I don't think. And then also things that are kind of like horror adjacent. I don't like Death Stranding. I don't think
that is in my list. So
yeah, I wasn't planning to take that anytime soon. So yeah.
So you mentioned something yesterday, and you said, "Oh yeah, it's like Death Stranding," and it was like, "Thanks for ruining that. I knew nothing about you." Like it was in the trailer. I'm like, I didn't see the trailer. I know zero. You told me something from a game I knew nothing about and was going to research.
It's in the long form trailer.
I never saw the trailer.
That trailer is older than our son. You cannot blame me for mentioning something in a game that is over 5 years old. That's not even a spoiler. It's in the trailer.
Most of the time, when I do a blind first hour for our patrons, I go in knowing nothing.
You purist.
Yeah.
You purist. Okay, I'm sorry I mentioned the one thing that's even in the advertising for the game. Oh my god. So I'm covering Mouthwashing, and I'll probably cover over time a few other more indie-esque.
Just the title. The title alone makes me feel squeamish.
I think at the end, if you want me to, I could explain my reasoning for why they went with that title. But I will tell you about it. However, there's a huge twist in the game. One that, although I saw it coming, it's only because I was watching an analysis video. There are a few secrets that I would like to keep from anyone who's curious about the game but don't want the entire journey spoiled. For that reason, I want to cover the story of Daisuke. I don't even know if I'm going to say this right. Daisuke. For reasons we'll explain later, his story contains the least amount of spoilers. Some could easily argue that Daisuke is the most innocent character in the game, but I would argue not the most tragic. In addition, the game isn't presented in chronological order, but I will present Daisuke's story chronologically.
That is fair.
Mm-hmm. The chapter order in the game is shaped extremely well to keep the tension and intrigue high, even though you know things out of order. It's actually done super, super well. But once you get to the point where you're trying to get into like what lore they give you within the context of the game, you're not going to retain it that well if you're doing it chapter by chapter.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. I briefly want to shout out not only Wendigoon for being the reason I know about this game, but also a YouTuber who goes by Risley, I think, Risley, who helped me review the chronological order of events in the game. If you've played the game and are confused, her video, Mouthwashing Explained in Chronological Order, is supremely helpful with great insights to the situation at hand. Also, she gives some scathing judgments against certain characters that I thought were entertaining to hear, but that's all I'll say about that. So, getting to the story of Daisuke.
Okay. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need at least some idea of what is the, like, is this a 2D game? Is it first person? Is it 3D? Is it
It is a
third
kind
person?
of like a 3D polygon aesthetic indie horror game. Linear narrative in the sense of it's not really about your choices. It's about you finishing tasks. And there's like a boss fight or two in there as well.
My question there is, you say polygon, and that's implied by 3D. When we say polygon, we're talking like that old school aesthetic of really, really low end polygon.
Low end polygon,
Okay.
closer to like what we grew up with the N64. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a point and click adventure. I'm struggling to think about exactly what it is other than like it's a narrative game with some gameplay elements.
I'm sure someone has tagged it walking simulator. They always do.
It's not.
This game isn't difficult enough. It's a walking simulator.
It is described as a horror adventure game. Does that help?
I mean, the tags on Steam are what I'm referring to, but that's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
First person horror game.
Okay.
All right. Are you satisfied, Mystic?
I'm going to hate this, I'm sure.
We don't know a lot about Daisuke's origins. Or Dai is how some people refer him to.
How's it spelled?
Daisuke.
Daisuke, yeah.
Daisuke. So we don't know a lot about Daisuke's origins. We know he lived with his two parents and was in the phase of life where he was an adult but not perceived to be one. Dialogue in the game suggests he was a big partier and drinker at this time. He previously played junior baseball and loves game nights. He's like occasional board game stuff. He's also not the brightest. Per the developers, Daisuke's favorite Pokemon is Were-Garurumon. Unfortunately for Daisuke, Were-Garurumon is a Digimon.
I was like, it sounds really long for a Pokemon name, but okay, no, that makes sense.
In fact, I was able to get a screenshot. I know all the characters' favorite Pokemon, and there was one where where I saw it, and just because our son is watching the current Pokemon Horizon story, I was like, oh, that one makes sense now. Okay. It's funny. The developers have done a lot of little tidbits like that. Have been fun to read while I've been researching. So Daisuke's mother saw him as a slacker and decided to take fate into her own hands. Thinking he needed a structured environment, she decided to sign him up to be an intern with the Pony Express. In the game universe, intergalactic travel has been achieved, which leads to intergalactic shipping. The Pony Express is a company that provides such shipping services to companies across the vastness of space, all with the cheery mascot Polly, whose name is spelled like the Swedish and Finnish nickname for horse. Polle.
Okay.
Polly. At the time of the game, the Pony Express is the last shipping company to hire people to be on a spaceship and ensure the shipment arrives at its destination. The rest of the companies have moved on to automated systems for their shipping. Still, the developers confirmed in a Q&A post from 2024 that the Pony Express still had a 30% chance of losing everything they were shipping. The only reason they would beat out competition would be their cheap pricing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
So we are... No, we are not. We are working for them?
Daisuke is working.
Okay,
Yeah.
Daisuke is working.
There's no confirmation if Dai's mother knew these odds when she signed him up to be an intern. At first, Daisuke was frustrated that the good times would end. Soon, he accepted his fate and decided to live up to his name, which in Japanese can translate to big help. He looks forward to succeeding at something for once. He joins the crew of the Tulpar at the last minute and puts on a brave face in hopes of making his parents proud.
The Tulpar?
Yes. The Tulpar is a ship that serves as the setting for the entirety of Mouthwashing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The ship lacks windows, but is built to have 4 crew members live within the confines for 1 year, with 2 floors of inhabitable space. The ship's rooms include the cargo bay, the cockpit, the med bay, the sleeping quarters, the utility room, and the lounge that features a large screen that mimics the solar cycle on Earth from sunrise to starlit sky. There's also a ventilation system that supports the 2 floors. The Tulpar's crew before Daisuke joins includes the following: Curly, the ship's captain; Jimmy, the ship's co-pilot; Anya, the ship's medical officer; and Swansea, the ship's engineer.
Are these also playable characters?
You only play 2 of the characters, and I'll mention that at the end.
Okay.
And I will say this up front, you do not play Daisuke.
Okay. I thought we were going to. I misunderstood that part, I guess.
No. That's part of the reason why he's one of the least spoilery options for covering the game. People who have played Mouthwashing before hopefully kind of see what I'm doing.
Okay.
And once you play the beginning of the game, because again, you like to go into it pretty blind, you'll understand why that kind of works with what's going on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Daisuke ends up interning under Swansea, so the ship's engineer. He is curmudgeonly, and one of the first to point out when Daisuke makes a mistake, despite his attempts to learn from Swansea's decades of experience. The two are a hilarious duo. Daisuke's optimism and naivete juxtaposed with Swansea's grumpy demeanor and jaded outlook on everything. Swansea at first considers Daisuke joining a mistake, considering how the intern seems to retain almost none of his lessons, or at least to Swansea it doesn't. His eagerness to please occasionally becomes a mess, including one time when Daisuke went into a broken vent to fix it, only to activate the emergency foam that seals up the ship in case of a hull breach.
Oh my God.
Curly, the captain had to unlock an axe and be able to cut Daisuke out. By the time the story starts for Mouthwashing, Swansea has warmed to Daisuke somewhat, helping set up the intern with practice tests and leaving notes in textbooks. But Swansea is still willing to call out the young man's mistakes. And by call out, I mean openly call Daisuke an idiot who shouldn't touch anything in the utility room.
The funny thing is, if you didn't tell me that we weren't playing as Daisuke, the fact that we're leaving notes on how to do things would lead me to believe that we're playing as Daisuke.
It does. I think if you're used to like the point and click kind of mystery game,
it sounds like that. Yeah,
which we did just cover Myst, so you're in that headspace. But it's again, this is a non-playable character, so
right.
Yeah. Despite the ship still only able to accommodate 4 crew members and the disparaging comments from Swansea, Daisuke stays optimistic. He does his best to work well with the rest of the crew and even regularly plays a board game with Anya to pass the time. Daisuke wears a pink Hawaiian shirt over his yellow Pony Express polo with hibiscus flowers on it. It complements his shoulder-length hair, almost appearing like a surfer ready to go to the beach at any moment. He comments on how determined he is to learn and serve the crew well. He's determined to prove his usefulness in particular. He's got golden retriever energy, which is sometimes endearing and sometimes annoying.
Okay. This is so weird. Part of the reason I think I'm having trouble adapting to a non-player character story is because usually when I'm breaking down a story, we are covering a player character's story.
This isn't the first time I've done this either. Like, think back.
It's not. I do forget that this is your MO.
Yeah. And also, in particular, this is a game where I think if you like this genre and you like kind of the style and the non-chronological thing and also how the horror ends up playing out, this is a good way to get a taste for where it goes, but not know the ending.
That's fair.
And yeah,
I'm not judging. It's just my headspace is probably not gelling as well as I would like.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like every time I do this, you like when we recorded Varric Tethras, you're like having a little trouble keeping up. When we recorded about all the dogs in Fallout, a little. You didn't have as much trouble keeping up because you've played those games. So
yeah, part of it's also just the change in the dynamic of the show.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you did a 3-parter, which I would not be angry at.
No. You've played,
I would probably blend better as we went further into it. So
this also, just listeners, if he's the same way about people driving other than him, and he's in the front seat in particular. And it's not that Mystic thinks he should be the only one driving. It's just that when he's not driving, it's just so awkward to him because he's so used to being the driver that it takes him a while before and he never really relaxes.
People
either.
who sit in the passenger seat of their car will understand this, where you begin to anticipate what is the next stop or when they're going to start applying the brake, when is the acceleration coming, and it doesn't match what you would do. You know? So, yeah, it is a little bit like that, where I'm anticipating where this is going, even though I know nothing.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest you relax. No need to anticipate. It's a genre you don't even play on the regular. So,
does it have jump scares? Is it that type of... Well, that's the thing. Is it jump scary horror or is it creepy psychological horror? Or both?
I want to finish this and then I want to answer that.
Okay.
Yeah. After several months, the crew surprised the captain, Curly, with a birthday party. It's the only one budgeted for their year-long trek. Per the rules, the captain has to make the cake for the party. And when Curly goes to do so, Daisuke mentions that he hopes the cake is tasty since Swansea ate all the candy on board. Once the cake is ready and everyone sits down, Daisuke urges Curly to make a speech. Curly takes the moment to broach some bad news he just received. In 8 months, when their trip is over, they're all being let go and being replaced with an automated system.
Getting political.
The Pony Express is going the way of its competitors. Curly was supposed to wait closer to the end of the mission, but on a whim decided now was the time. Daisuke remains silent while the others express their frustration. He witnesses Jimmy go on a tirade about how the layoff is convenient for Curly. Jimmy also says disparaging remarks on everyone else, including how Daisuke will be fine. Mommy and Daddy have him covered. Despite the tirade, Curly still serves the crew their cake.
Okay, is Daisuke is his family rich or?
It's suggested that they're well. It's suggested that they're well off, and he's young too. Okay. So yeah, within a week, the team being laid off is not the worst thing happening. The Tulpar has crashed into an asteroid. Daisuke is told that Curly, the captain, has crashed the ship intentionally and is now severely injured. In the rest of the game, Curly's in a hospital gown, haphazardly bandaged with blood from his wounds staining the hospital bed, and wounds all over. He's literally bloody. He's lost his feet and his hands, and his face is wrapped only to expose his mouth and one eye. It's pretty gruesome looking, honestly.
Sounds like something from Fallout, honestly.
You'll see it, and yeah, you'll definitely see that resemblance. The Tulpar was taken well off course and cannot move. Its absence won't be felt until it does not deliver the cargo that is due in about 8 months' time. They do not have enough food for all of them to survive that long.
That's that's not good.
Swansea says the utility room is covered in foam. It's too dangerous to enter. The same is true for the sleeping quarters, forcing everyone to sleep in the lounge. Chopping away any of that foam could risk a hull breach and being sucked out to the vacuum of space. The foam filling up the utility room specifically means the crew cannot use the 4 cryo chambers that are installed in that room. These cryo chambers were meant for emergencies like this, designed to hold one person for 20 years in stasis as they wait for rescue. So the crew is stranded, hoping that someone may notice them floating in the vastness of space with only half a year of food left.
Now, you said that how many people are? There's Daisuke and how many people?
4 people plus Daisuke.
So still not enough for all of them to go into cryo, even if they could access it. Okay.
No. In particular, it's noted that Daisuke, since he was a last-minute addition, technically shouldn't have been on the crew.
Yeah.
They didn't adjust it for him. So, with Curly out of commission and having intentionally crashed the ship, Jimmy takes over as captain. He was the co-pilot before.
Okay.
Daisuke appreciates his leadership as the months go on. They keep Curly alive as best they can, with Jimmy administering painkillers to Curly to help keep him as comfortable as possible. Swansea keeps the crew out of the utility room as he struggles to find a way to cut through the foam that's filled it up. Daisuke is sent to continuously count what's left of the food.
Continuously?
Yes, over and over again.
No. Oh, God.
There's a lot of reasons for this that I might, after we record, tell you, Mystic, because as much as there's some stuff that I think would be better for you to kind of like think about when we finally stream this, there's a couple other things that are more just like character moments, and those tend up being like the kind of like side surprises you get with the twists that end up happening in the story. After 2 months and Daisuke still keeping hope alive, the remaining 4 functioning crew members discuss opening up the cargo bay. It would dock their pay, but at this point they're more concerned about survival with no loyalty left for the Pony Express.
Especially since all being...
Yeah, they're being let go.
Yeah.
They'll be let go by the end anyway. Part of them aren't even sure if there would be any money left after being rescued.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. After Jimmy finds the captain's tools to open the cargo bay, it's revealed that the whole cargo bay is filled with Dragonfire branded mouthwash.
Okay.
It's an in-universe
alcohol.
brand. Yeah.
Alcohol based.
Anya theorizes its sugar content counters its ability to be a disinfectant. But Swansea...
Wow.
Yeah. But Swansea soon finds that it's 14% ethanol.
Yep.
He breaks his 15 years of sobriety and drinks the mouthwash as if it's an alcoholic beverage, promising to teach Daisuke to drink like a man.
No, man, that sucks.
Yeah, and in fact, it's one of the things the developers noted too. Like, he was proud of that. And every year on his sobriety anniversary, he'd buy himself a new pair of nice sneakers. And when you see the character design, he's got really nice kicks. So, it's almost like it's like he knows he's never gonna buy another nice pair of sneakers, so
he's accepting to die and might as well have fun.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe. Daisuke is happy to take his mentor's lead on this one. Cheery demeanor as always. Anya is mortified. For the next couple of months, Daisuke helps make a dent in the mouthwash supplies, but not nearly as much as Swansea indulges. Anya is still tasked with taking care of Curly, with Jimmy still feeding Curly the pain medication. They pass time playing board games. Daisuke has a Game Boy he brought on.
Like an actual Game Boy?
Yes. Yeah, you could see it in the images at one point. As well as some small weights to help pass the time. And I think like a comic book too, if you look at the image. So
one comic book.
Well, I don't know if it's the only one, but it's the one that was next to the Game Boy and the weights.
All right, fair enough. I'm very curious if, like, you keep saying the developers said this, the developer said that, and I'm very curious. Did the developers say if he had more than one game?
I'd have to look that up. I didn't catch that. This is like some of the stuff I ended up, like, just picking up as I was doing the research. Like the favorite Pokemon being a Digimon.
Jesus. Pokemon's one we should cover sometime.
Yeah. But the time becomes more burdensome to pass. One evening, the meaninglessness of it all gets to Daisuke. The fatal reality of a situation sinking in. He drinks too much mouthwash and ends up drunk on the floor of a hallway. When Jimmy finds him, Daisuke laments how his mother signed him up for this internship and how he's never succeeded in anything. This internship was a chance to do just that, and now he laments that he hopes his mother won't blame herself when she finally gets the news.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Daisuke's mentor Swansea is now constantly drunk on mouthwash. It makes him less grumpy, but also completely useless. He breaks the screen in the lounge with the axe. He dances away his troubles. Daisuke still tries to stick through it, even when Anya is at the point of considering consuming the mouthwash herself, finally.
Oh, jeez.
A month passes after Daisuke drunkenly confesses to Jimmy his sorrows. He notices the med door is closed, a door that he has never seen closed since med bay itself has been left open this entire time. He discovers Anya is locked in there with Curly. In a panic, Daisuke wakes up Jimmy and lets him know the situation. The two of them go over to the med bay, with Jimmy demanding that Anya open the door. Anya confesses she sealed the door. She says, "You were right, Jimmy. I should have done this from the beginning," saying that she'll take care of it. Jimmy panics, knowing Curly's on the other side. Despite what Swansea has said about the utility room, Jimmy plans to have Daisuke climb through the broken ventilation shaft so he can get into the medical bay and open the door from the inside. Daisuke has doubts. He remembers when he was stuck in the emergency foam, and he doesn't want to make another mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy encourages Daisuke to join him on this, saying, "We can save Curly, yeah?" The smirk that Mr. gave, he knows too much already. The first step of the plan is to get Swansea away from guarding the utility room door. Jimmy decides they're going to hack the mocktail machine in the lounge in order to make a cocktail that will put Swansea to sleep. He assures Daisuke that Swansea may not even realize he was drugged at all when he wakes up. They approach Swansea in front of the utility room where he refuses to step aside. P.S. Swansea is still kind of drunk here.
Right.
But he's
like
not...
continually, as you
yeah,
said.
but he has enough wits about it to be like, I'm not stepping away from the utility. Like, he's like stubbornly not doing anything about that.
I'm very curious, like, if you're that drunk,
Mm-hmm.
would drink, like, they're talking about mocktail. Are they going to make a concoction that's not alcoholic but will still knock him out, or are they...
You'll get the information in a bit.
Oh, okay. By the way, you do this every time that I'm doing, where you're like, "What's this?" and like, you will just wait.
Yeah, no, I'm not even mad at you taking those guesses. They're understand, and a lot of in the game itself, it kind of wants you to ask these questions too.
Okay.
So you're kind of on the right path. So they offer the cocktail to Swansea, who takes it and proceeds to tell Daisuke he's an idiot and insulting his efforts. He says that Daisuke will only get older, uglier, and meaner if he tries to be an engineer. He'll get, quote, smarter in the worst way. At first, Daisuke tries to laugh it off. As Swansea continues, Daisuke falls silent. It's Jimmy who tells Swansea that wallowing doesn't suit you and urges him to take the drink. Saying they should enjoy the sunsets on this party, Swansea downs the whole cocktail and proceeds to keel over, face down in the hallway. Daisuke is horrified, worried that Swansea is practically comatose. Jimmy reassures him that the only thing Swansea will get out of this is a massive headache from where he hit his head on the floor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Taking the utility room keys off of Swansea, Daisuke asks one more time if they should just talk to Swansea instead of tricking him to drink the cocktail and go in the room.
Wait, what? He already drank the cocktail.
Well, more like, should we have done it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daisuke doesn't want to disappoint Swansea still, even after all the drunken insults. Jimmy tells Daisuke to be brave before opening the door to the utility room, which is not full of foam. There is foam in it. There is significant damage, but Daisuke sees that one of the 4 cryo chambers is still operational. Jimmy is angry, believing that Swansea was trying to hide the cryo chamber for himself. Daisuke defends his mentor, theorizing that Swansea had been slowly clearing the room all this time and not having Daisuke help since he was too strong and clumsy to get it done right. Jimmy is unconvinced. Literally, Daisuke, yeah, he said that like my big dumb arms would get in the way. Something like that. And like he just like, and he's still kind of cheery as he's saying this. Soon they find the vent, and Jimmy, stating that Daisuke is the only one who could go through the vent, tries to convince the young man to climb through it. There are sparking wires, and it's believed part of the vents have collapsed, leaving jagged metal ready to cut someone in the dark, tight space. Daisuke once again thinks they should wake up Swansea to see if it's safe to go through the vent. Jimmy insists that the time is of the essence and convinces Daisuke that when he saves the day, Swansea will be proud of him, always eager to please, and also being told it's captain's orders. Daisuke enters the vent. His confidence is boosted, only to injure himself severely and scream in pain as he enters the med bay. There he sees what Anya has done. It's horrible, and I won't spoil it for the audience. There's actually a part of the game where there's a point where you should see it. and the game essentially still covers it up from your vision.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just the way that it kind of messes with perception.
Okay. Sounds horrific, but I don't know in which way.
Yeah.
So.
Daisuke, his torso lacerated and bleeding profusely, drags himself through the med bay to open the door and reveal to Jimmy what happened. He's dragged to the lounge. Swansea wakes up to hear Daisuke struggling in pain on his mattress. He squirms and groans as he apologizes for messing up. Swansea asks about the disinfectant from the med kit. It's no longer available since that is what was used to make Swansea's cocktail. Swansea is incensed. Jimmy blames Swansea for guarding the utility room so strongly, but the two split up to try and find disinfectant, leaving Daisuke to suffer and bleed in the lounge. Jimmy comes back with the mouthwash, trying to clean out the wounds, as Daisuke apologizes through the pain, saying he's sorry he screwed everything up.
Which apparently has a high sugar content, so that's not going to help too much.
Swansea, in this moment, kneels next to Daisuke, axe in hand. He admits he admires that Daisuke wasn't the brightest kid, but he always worked hard and tried his best. He laments how Daisuke could have taught, quote, an old fool like me a lot. With that, he urges Daisuke to close his eyes. And with mercy and grief, Swansea lifts the axe and then ends Daisuke's suffering. His internship is officially over.
You had to put it like that? Okay.
Is
that the dark humor of this game?
That's partly that, partly my dark humor
okay.
too, honestly. That's more me than the game, I'll say that. There's so much more that happens on the Tulpar, but Daisuke's story is a great peek into it. You'll never play as him. Instead, the game has you playing as either Curly or Jimmy, depending on where you are during the timeline. When we do our first hour live stream, you'll see some other moments that will reveal a little bit, a taste of the horror, a taste of the humor, and maybe you'll become intrigued enough to play Mouthwashing. So that's kind of my hope for this episode. As much as we're going over some of the lore, we're also just giving people an idea for an indie game that I think it's better to not spoil.
We've done that before where we've talked about games and we're like, we don't want to talk about this part of it.
Yeah.
So it is rare.
Yeah.
But we're usually covering old games.
Much older games. This is a much newer game. The developers are still talking about it.
Or if we do cover a newer game, it's something like Blueprints, where the story is not why you're playing.
No, it is not why I was playing it. Definitely not. So what do you think about the story of Daisuke?
I'm not quite sure what to make of it, actually. Part of it sounds like a very dark comedy. In a way, like a horror comedy, like a splatterpunk or a.
It's not a splatterpunk. I'll give you.
It's not, but like that weird. It's so dark that it almost turns the corner to being funny again. That could also be your telling of it.
It's also the part of the story I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because there are much darker things that happen in this game or are part of the story that.
Well, considering one of the player characters apparently gets something horrific done to them, yeah.
Yes, that is definitely, and it's not, yeah. Well, no, there's...
Or did I get my characters confused?
Anya is the one who we don't see what happened to her when you first enter the med bay that first time.
Anya's the one who's... I misheard that then. I thought...
Well, Anya and Curly are in...
Okay.
The med bay, and that part where they both are is covered up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's up with them.
No, you have no idea.
Okay, I thought that she had, like, based on your telling somehow, I interpreted that she had killed him in some horrific way, which may be the case. I don't know. But...
Yeah, you have to play the game to figure out what that is. And I wouldn't even necessarily say that's the biggest twist of the whole thing. But it does get to some points, too, where it becomes more psychological horror as well.
Okay.
And I would say that especially the interplay of the story with Swansea and Daisuke, while Daisuke is alive on the ship, is much more, dark humor or just kind of hilarious.
Right. Maybe that's why I was getting that feeling a little bit.
It's less hijinks and more just like hilarious banter of like, here you've got like puppy dog eagerness combined with like jaded bitterness.
All right.
Yeah. So it's not as humorous as I've probably let it to be. So, but with that,
I don't know if I'm looking forward to playing it, but I am intrigued enough to.
I don't think it doesn't have that many like actual jump scares. It's a lot more about like existential horror, I'd say.
Okay, those are okay for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're only going to be playing the first hour, so.
We saw what happened with you with Dead Letter Department.
That was different. That was definitely different.
The first hour didn't get you anywhere. That was the thing. It starts so slow.
It is definitely slow enough where I'm like, I need to have some story. What is going on? So.
And then it was just, I gotta play. I don't want to, but I have to play.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Okay. I don't think
bad in the horrific way, not
yeah,
in the...
it was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. I think I don't know if you'll want to keep playing it after the first hour just because it's got a discongruent storytelling structure.
Right.
You know, and things like, and I usually aren't into stuff like that. Yeah, we'll see. And if you want to find out, the Thursday after this is out to the public is when we will be doing our live stream. And then, of course, as we mentioned before, alternate Thursdays, we are continuing with our stream of
The Forgotten City. So,
yeah. I think I was just surprised, Mystics, that you didn't comment as much as usual.
A lot of it, I think, is... I thought I did. Did I not?
I don't know. I didn't feel like it.
You tend to get into a thing where you are describing stuff, and I don't want to interject because...
that's fair.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
But I thought I had comments.
You had comments. Don't worry. All right. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us this time. We'll hopefully catch you at the live streams and the next episode.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.